What up, beauties? We're back with the Regular Guys Firearm channel, and today we're actually going over the smallest piece of kit between these two. This is an SOE Single Point Sling review. Now, a couple of you guys have been asking, okay, what sling is that in the last couple of videos, and I hinted toward doing one of these a couple of months ago, to which guys that pay attention to the channel have been hounding me for a little while now. So, here it finally is. Now, I said this about my Magpul MS3 sling review, and I'll say it again because it is just as important. A sling to a rifle is immediately as absolutely necessary and important as a holster to a handgun. Meaning, you should probably not run without the other. Because, yeah, it's possible. Is it convenient? No. Is it safe all the time? Fuck no. And are you going to possibly have to deal with a whole bunch of issues because you don't have it? Yes. So, there are 1.5 million different sling options that are out there. And for you 2 and 3 point guys, sorry, I personally prefer the 1 point stuff. Because personally, I don't like the fact that 2 point slings hang up on junk and 3 point slings are death traps. So, that and you require a fucking college degree usually to install one on your rifle. And they're very highly specific sometimes, but getting off of that soapbox. So I've run this guy through a couple of classes now, and I've run it through several different drills and done a bunch of crap with it in South Florida and in Tampa with it. Nice. So, a big deal about this particular sling is that this is the simplest yet the most modular sling I've ever run in my entire life. And the only reason why it is the way it is as far as its modularity is concerned is the fact that it's very simple. You know, and a lot of guys hate on SOE slings and stuff like that because, oh, it's a primitive sling, or we moved on beyond that. Well, I kind of like the thought that I don't need a particular mounting point to put this sling on a gun. That's a big deal to me. And if you already have an existing sling mount option on your rifle, chances are it'll mount straight to that, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. Alright, so I mounted it to my Chinese AK here, and you can see that it's actually really, really simple to install the damn thing. Now, a lot of guys will ask about, oh, well, there's this extra crap that hangs out, and it's actually more so if you're running something like an AR. We'll go over how to deal with that here in a second. But there isn't even a mounting solution on this AK for a particular sling, unless you count the QD mount for the damn CTR. But, as you can see, it's not like the stock is fucking coming off, and especially when it's on your body, it's not going anywhere in the first place. And if you have standard rings, it helps you out a little bit more because it's the correct width for it. But that's on the AK. We're going to see how it adapts to something like the sling mount on this particular AR. See, now I've run a Magpul MS3 for a long time, and I tell you what, this might be a quote-unquote replacement sling for it.
Cover!
Alright, so now we have this sling mounted on this AR here. And as you can see, there is a possible slack issue here. So, one of the neat things about living with your girlfriend is that she provides hair ties and shit when you need to take up the slack on a rifle sling, and she's got billions of them. Same thing for nail polish when you want to paint front sights on handguns, but that's a totally different discussion. But anyway, so now I know that I'm going to get 1 million different questions on how exactly I loop the damn sling, because there are new guys that have not messed around with the SOE slings before. So I'm going to take this sling off really fast, and I'm going to show you how to do that really quick.
Go! He's standing, looking around. Yep. What do you say, Billy?
Mother of God.
What do you say?
Cover! Got it!
Okay.
Next, I'm just going to go ahead and show you how you would cinch this thing up. Now, the first thing that you would do is you would just kind of loop this around wherever you wanted it to loop around via stock or sling attachment or whatever. And then the first thing that you would do is just go ahead and go into your first little loop there, and then go into the second one. Now, the second one is fairly easy, but what a lot of guys will note is that this will loosen inadvertently fairly easy. So how you prevent that is you just kind of bring this guy over. This is really weird to do while looking through a camera. Just kind of bring this guy over and punch this guy through the top. Again. Right? So if you have some slack or whatever in there, it's not really that big of a deal. This is why it's good to have a girlfriend, guys. Because hair ties will actually save your life in this particular instance. If you have to use something like a rubber band, that's fine. Just understand that it's going to eventually either just snap under tension or dry rot and break on you. This actually works a lot easier. So even if you have to go to like a Walgreens or something, it works out great. And you don't have to spend $1 billion extra on a more expensive sling.
Move!
Have your sling cinched up on stuff, it's a really good idea to make sure that this is adjusted to you. Now, it's real easy to figure out exactly how to adjust this thing, but if I were to get elementary school about it, you know, you have your main line basically here, and that hooks to the rest of your sling. And then basically the top portion of that there. Then you have this little guy under here. If you want to tighten this guy, just yank on him until you're as tight as it needs to be. Now, I'm under the thought process that just like body armor, slings need to be fairly tight on your body if you're in the one-point configuration. And what's neat about the bungee on this particular guy is that if you get into a position where you end up having to push this sling out from your body, the bungee cord works out really well. So what we're going to do is that we're going to put this fucker on, and we're just going to go over really quick application as far as how to wear it and all that other good jazz. And that's coming right now.
Battlefield pickup.
Come here!
Get it loaded. Scan.
Alright guys, so now the sling is on, and it's mounted to the rifle. I chose my AK for this particular sling setup, because you guys see like boatloads of footage with the AR. So, as you can see, there is a little bit of slack here, but it's not that big of a deal because I don't really have anything impeding that shit. So, like, as you can see, the sling is on right now. And if I let it go, you can see that the bungee takes it a little bit to where this is how it just kind of sits, and once I set the rifle down, you can see it stretching just a little bit. This is actually very important, because when you walk around with kit and weapons and crap like that all the time, a really horrible tendency for pretty much every other sling system in the world out there is that as you're walking, the sling puts a tremendous strain on your shoulder. Now, I'm not saying that it's absent, that you won't feel your rifle on your shoulder when you walk around with it all day, but you will notice that it takes a significantly longer amount of time for you to feel fatigued with this sling on. And the reason why I say that is that I had no idea why it was the case in the first place, but then I noticed every time that I took a step or moved around or whatnot, the gun would bounce on the sling. Now, what I figure it is, and all of you guys that are much smarter than me can actually tell me this, the way that I figure it is that as you walk with the thing, the bungee cord in the sling actually absorbs some of the weight and keeps some of the strain off of you. Another really big deal that I really dig about this gun is that about this sling, is that I can keep the sling on as tight as I need it to be as far as adjusted to me. But let's say that I have to get into the prone. And while I'm in the prone, you start to dive out a little bit. When you start to dive out a little bit, you can actually push on the gun and not worry about it trying to take you with it. The sling will just give so that you have the extra room that you need. Another really big deal is if I'm going from shoulder to shoulder with the thing, it just went without kit and bullshit on. But when I do have kit and stuff, it takes up a significantly higher amount of space on like the chest and whatnot. So if, let's say, I'm going from shoulder to shoulder and shooting this way, or let's say that I'm doing it the Magpul way and I'm rotating the entire gun over the sling. The problem with the MS3 and stuff is that because the material doesn't give and you don't get a good rotation of the gun, it's just gonna stop and you get this type of crap happening. So with the bungee cord in the sling, you can actually just kind of push the gun off of you, rotate it all the way, and the sling will give enough to where you can actually do what you have to do later on. So, you know, anything else that I can say about it is that it's well constructed. SOE uses really, really good materials, and they're hated on for making really simple rigs and stuff like that don't have these crazy ass pouches. But there's a beauty in simplicity in that there's just fewer things to go wrong with the sling. There's fewer things that can break in the sling. I've seen the mounting hardware for MS3s break before, and the MS2 slings break a lot more than that. So there's a beauty in the simplicity that's there. The material is rugged as shit. I mean, you guys have seen the courses that I've taken this thing to, and that's about a third of how much I've actually used this rifle sling. And it doesn't give a shit. It just keeps going. Okay, it really is like the fat chick of rifle slings out there, just because it's not as attractive as the other ones, and it's not marketed as high, but damn it, it's going to be there for you, and it's going to try really fucking hard. So, you guys can track me on Facebook now, and I am under the Regular Guys Firearm page. I'll leave a link in the description below. Under my YouTube name, you can find me on Instagram, and remember, a Regular Guy's Firearm is the last defense against tyranny. Be easy.